Hello, my awesome fourth grade artist. Today we're going to be creating these fun alpaca drawings. They're actually watercolor resist. So we're going to use a combination of watercolors and Sharpie markers and crayons. And we're going to talk about alpacas, and we're going to talk about where they're from and Peruvian textiles. So let's get started a little bit and let me show you where you can find alpacas, okay? Alpacas are a lot like llamas. They're both found in the same area, and they're found on the continent of South America in the country of Peru. We live in North America, this is South America, and then right in here is where Peru's located. You may have heard of the Andes Mountains, and that's where those are located also. So that's where you'll find alpacas and llamas. And here's a picture to show you. They're a little bit different. They're very related. They're like cousins, and they're both in the camel family, but alpacas are smaller. The larger one is the llamas, and the shape of the face is the most distinguishing difference. See, these have a shorter, blunter face, and the llamas have a longer face and bigger ears. The alpacas are very well known for their soft fleece, and the llama's fleece is a little bit coarser. And llamas, because they're bigger, are mainly used as pack animals. So the Peruvian people will put packages of things on them and load them, and that's how they carry things from place to place. But alpacas are very important to the Peruvian culture because about 600 years ago, when the Incas ruled the area, fleece was a major form of currency. That means they used their fleece like money. It was even more important than gold or silver, and so the people would use that to trade and pay for things. And this is what we call their fur. It's actually called fleece. And the people every year will shear, that means cut that fleece off, and they will create textiles. And that's like fabrics that they use in things that they wear and decorate with. Alpacas have a really large variety of colors, more than any other animal with fur. So they range in shades from white, like the one here, to black, and then shades of brown and gray, all in between. And after they shear the fleece off of the alpaca, they will dye it with beautiful, vibrant, bright colors. And that's what they use to make their Peruvian textiles. And, I told you that they're very important to the culture of Peru. They have a National Alpaca Day, and they celebrate the alpacas. And so they'll adorn them with tassels and pom-poms and give them these fun things to wear and make them look really fancy for that day. And that's how we're going to be decorating our drawing of our alpaca. So let me show you the Peruvian textiles that I was talking about. These are some examples of what they look like. See the very bright colors and patterns they use. And these would be used in blankets or ponchos that they wear, or hats, and lots of their clothing. So when you see the Peruvian people, the native Peruvian people, you often see them wearing things like this. So before you start drawing, your teacher has the link to a video on YouTube. It's called Peru, Land of the Llamas. Are we there yet? I would like for you to watch that, and you'll get to see the Peruvian people. You'll get to see how they shear the llama. Now, they're going to be doing llamas in the video, but you'll get to see how they use their fleece to create this textile, and it's a really fun, interesting video. So after you've seen this much of this video, I'd like you to switch over to that one, and then we will begin our drawing. So do that, and then when you come back, I'm going to go ahead and get ready. I'm going to be showing you how to draw the alpaca. So you've got a drawing guide that I provided to your teacher. I'm going to go through and show you, but your teacher can also post that drawing guide on the Elmo so you can look at it. We're going to be doing a watercolor resist, remember, so you're going to need to use a black Sharpie so that when we put the watercolor over it, it won't bleed. But you can use a pencil to begin with, and then you can go back and outline it with your Sharpie. So to begin with, take your watercolor paper and turn it vertically with the long side going up and down, and find the middle of your paper, somewhere in the middle. Mine's right about here, and we're going to start with the nose and mouth area. So I'm going to start with the nose, and you're just going to kind of in the middle make a line that kind of goes across, and then we're going to come down and around and just make this nose shape. I kind of curved the sides and went down. And I think I'm using my Sharpie. I'm going to go ahead and color it in with black. You may want to have a pink nose or a different color nose, and that's okay. But I'm just going to go ahead and color mine in black. Okay. Now we're going to make the mouth that comes down from the nose. All right, so over to the side of the nose, I'm on the left side, I'm going to go a short little line across. And I'm going to come down with like a U shape that connects to the middle of the nose like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to make that U shape, go up, and then a little line here. Okay, that's like where his muzzle is. And then we're going to make the mouth. So we're going to make a U shape, and then another one for his lip. Okay, now we're going to make his nose area. So we're going to go from that little tiny line that you made, we're going to go diagonally up. It's almost, it reminds me of like you're making a roof on a house, but you don't connect it. Let's do that from each side. And then we're going to go straight up. And we're going to make the eyes. It's like the alpaca is smiling, so his eyes are closed. If you want to make your eyes open, that's fine. But I'm just making mine like these two little upside down curved shapes, like his eyes are closed and he's grinning really big. All right, now we're going to have the two ears that come up on each side. So I'm going to go over here. You've got to give some space for his head. And I'm going to make this long, almost banana-like shape in a way. That's what they say with llamas. They say their ears kind of are like this banana shape. And then from the ends of those, we're going to just make some zigzag lines that represent the fur. And you don't have to make your zigzags just like mine. You probably won't. That'd be really hard to do, to make yours exactly like mine. Just make a series of zigzag lines, however you want to where it works. Comes down for his, under his mouth. And then we'll make like a little tuft of hair up here. So I'm just going to, again, make these zigzaggy lines. They kind of come in, kind of go down. And then you can take your nose and make them go all the way up. So it kind of goes, it's going to like go under that hair. And then the rest of it is just the neck. Llamas and alpacas both have these long necks. So I'm just going to start on one side, and I'm going to make some more zigzag lines that go all the way down and run off my paper. Okay, to represent that very long neck. And then the last thing, I'm going to go in with the ears. I'm going to see where they're kind of open here. We need to add a line there to kind of show that that's where the head and the ears meet. And then we'll add the inside of the ears. So I'm just going to kind of go up with a curve and then some more zigzags on that side. Up with a curve and then zigzags on the inside. Okay. All right, so that's that. If you drew it in pencil, go back and outline it with your black Sharpie. Then you will go in with some crayons, and you're going to add some color and texture on the alpaca, and then some designs in the background. So for your alpaca, I want you to either you can decide what color your alpaca is going to be. I made mine brown because I wanted it to really contrast with the bright background. So inside of there, I took my black crayon and a brown crayon, and I created some texture to look like fur. So I didn't really color it in. I just I made texture. And so to do that, I just kind of made these lines with my crayon. Just a series of lines. And right now it looks kind of strange, but that's because I haven't painted my watercolor on there yet. So I'm just making texture, and you can go down here and do the same thing. And I used a combination of black and brown just to give it a little variation of color. So see, I went back in with this also. Okay. All through there, create texture, and it'll just make your llama look a little bit more realistic. And I went in and I added around the nose, I added some little dots for where his whiskers are. I added some light brown here, texture in there. Okay, so do all that with your crayon. Then I want you to go in the background if you have time. I know that some of your classes, some of the teachers have longer class time. So I'm giving you two options. I would really love it if you did one like this, because this incorporates the Peruvian textiles into the background. I took my crayon and made lines that go across and divided my background into sections, and in each section I made a different pattern. And I've given your teacher this handout that shows these are Inca designs. These are some Inca patterns, and you can use some of these and make patterns in your background and color them with your crayons, okay? So like on this one, I made some triangle shapes, and that's all with crayon in the blue that you see. And then this was with the green, and we just made lines, and it kind of reminds you of those Peruvian textiles, okay? Now, I know Shannon Elementary, you don't have as much time, so I did do one where I did not do that, and I just made a solid background with watercolor, and that's fine. But if you have time, I really would like for you to do this one, okay? So after you have done all that with your crayon, you've made all your designs, you've made your lines and filled each one with pattern, then you're going to use your watercolors. And so you can do your llama first. So teachers on the llamas, for this part, the outside part of the llama, I used brown, and I used just brown liquid watercolor from the bottle. But we wanted some contrast in the ears and on the nose, so I added water to this. So you can mix up two different batches, one of the darker and one where you add water and dilute it. Excuse me. And excuse me. And you can make that area lighter, okay? Then when you do the background, I also added a little bit of water to this purple and lightened it up a bit, and you just paint all over it. And remember, it's watercolor resist, so your crayon designs will show through. But like I said, on this one, for the schools that don't have as much time, you can just paint a solid background if you would rather do that, okay? Now, another thing we're going to do on these llamas is we're going to create some decoration. Remember, I told you the Peruvians like to, on their National Alpaca Day, they will adorn their alpacas with pom-poms, and then we're going to make some tissue. I'm going to show you how to make some tissue paper flowers, okay? So to make a tissue paper flower, now not everyone has to do this. If you don't want to, that's fine. Your teacher's going to have tissue paper and pom-poms, and you decide how you want to decorate yours. So that'll be up to you. You just glue the pom-poms on. And I even, on this one, I put tassel. The tassel is a little bit more difficult, and I gave your teacher instructions. So if you feel like you would like to try that, you can read the instructions and see if you can do that. But I'm not going to show that on this video. It's a little bit more difficult. But I am going to show how to do the tissue paper flowers. So for the tissue paper flowers, your teacher has some little squares of tissue paper, and you put 3 and you stack them on top of each other. And you fold them like you're folding a fan. So I'm going to go up. You've probably all made a little fan before. It's like an accordion fold. Back and forth. You flip it up and down. All the way to the end. Okay, until it's like this. And then let your teacher come around and staple it in the middle. So I'm going to staple it like this in the middle. And then we're going to cut the ends to make a little curve. It'll make it look more like a flower. So I'm just going to take my scissors and give it a little curve on that end and a little curve on this end. Okay, move that trash out of the way. And then, so it's like that, turn it sideways where the thin side is up, and you can just kind of open it up. Tissue paper is like really fragile, so it tears really easy. So try to be as gentle as you can. If you tear it a little bit, it's okay, because that happens to me. But you open it up like that, and then just from the top, you start pulling it gently, gently, gently. Kind of hold it, and you just pull it up, pull those 3 layers up, and it's going to look like a flower. That's one side. Now, you could have used different colors of tissue paper. You don't have to use all the same color. So you decide how you would want your flower to look. See how I'm pulling those up? Just 3 layers, so it gets a little more complicated if you put more layers. See how that sort of looks like a flower, and you just kind of keep working with it till you get it how you like it. And then you can put some glue on the back and just stick it right on your llama. So you can decide, you may put the flower here, you may do something different with the pom-poms. I would love for you to just be creative and decorate your llamas however you want. And I hope you enjoy this project. I can't wait for your teachers to turn these in so I can see what awesome stuff you've done. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.